Hey yo, welcome back to my channel, The Dysfunction of My Mind, of My Reality. I spent like a good 30 minutes trying to figure out how to angle this a certain way so y'all don't see that I don't have on pants. That's the movie magic, man. No one told me about the benefits of just being able to just be naked on the internet. It's so amazing. Like the half that y'all don't have to see that I can put no effort into. Chef's kiss. Y'all know that I didn't do it. My mom goes to work. I didn't do it. She didn't come home last night. Cause normally, there's 2 floors to my house. And, if you go into my room, it leads to the backyard. So, for some reason, these past couple of weeks, I don't know if she feels like we're Wonder Twins. But instead of, going downstairs to where her actual part of the house is, she likes to go into my room and knock on my window like a fucking burglar at 12 in the morning when I'm trying to sleep, talking about open the door. I'm like, you don't pay rent here. You're an intruder. But anyway, today's topic is going to be about letting go of control, whatever control is to you. And it took me a long time to realize that I was a controlling person or controlling of other people in my environment, because I don't know, I guess I always sort of tried to have it as some sort of security blanket to make me feel like I was like a Sims motherfucker, just the creator of my own universe. For some reason that brought me a sense of security, because a lot of things have happened to me in life that I wasn't in control of, and I kind of was just left sort of helpless in a sense. So I didn't like feeling that way. It made me feel weak. It made me feel vulnerable. And I didn't really want to talk to anyone else about my problems. And so, I don't know, I guess that's the way it kind of played into my life. And I realized that people, they feel the need to control because it's actually a part of our human needs. You all have basic human needs: food, water, love, social interactions, but one of the 6 human needs that we have is actually having a sense of control. And this dictates every decision that we make. And I know from personal experience, I had the need to control in a relationship, feel like I was the one in charge, and I wore this mask of false confidence and feeling like I had everything together, and I really didn't. And me feeling the need to control, it sort of ruined my relationship, because I had been hurt so many times in the past, and I didn't know I was receiving all this love, but I was dealing with a lot of different people, and I didn't know what was going to happen in the future with this person. And so instead of me just sort of relinquishing control and allowing fear not to take over, not allowing my ego to take over, and just accepting the love, I try to control it by putting up this emotional wall, and it just made things worse, And it was a very self-sabotaging thing to do. And sometimes we can even use control as a personality and to fulfill our own needs in a sense, because it's when our needs are meant, because we feel the need to control things, we feel like there are certain things that we're supposed to have, we have certain needs that need to be met, certain standards. And when these things aren't met, you start to feel fear, and you start to feel doubt in yourself, if you're not deserving of these certain things that you're trying to create for yourself. And that can create some sort of anxiety in you, because we don't know what's going on. And I feel like that also plays a lot into religion in a sense, because we have this fear of not knowing what's going to happen after we pass on, after we transition. And so we're trying to control that narrative in a sense by having this sort of good behavior so that we can, that's a story for another time. Y'all don't come here for Hotep China. I mean, maybe you do. I still don't really know what my purpose is on here. But I realized that going through a lot of shadow work, that I have a lot of anxiety disorder. I have a lot of anxiety and having the need to control things having the need to like control things, it sort of gives you like this temporary like band-aid for these feelings and these emotions. Like it makes you feel like you have everything under control in a sense. And that you can control like these circumstances you feel. You can control what's going on around you. And so you feel like this false sense of you feel this false sense of stability and functionality. And I because I could control things, I know that everything will run smoothly in a sense. And that's not always the case. That's not always the case. Life will have like a funny way of surprising you when it comes to these things. And I know that for me personally, I came from a place where like decisions were always made for me. I kind of felt like I didn't always have a voice in what I wanted to do. Like even growing up, figuring out like what I wanted to do after high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I wasn't going to rush towards it because I feel like a lot of people, a lot of parents, they pressure their kids to like go to college right after, and the kid doesn't know what they want to do. They don't know what their passions are. They don't know what really their interests are. They don't know what will really fulfill them. But because they feel the need to do these things because of their guardians, because of society, they kind of go into a program, and next thing you know, you've invested like 3, 4, 5 years into this and you hate it and you don't really want to do it anymore. But because you've put so much time into this, now you feel like you have to finish this to like make your parents proud in some type of way. And you're kind of dying on the inside. You're kind of dying on the inside, but they don't know. And, you just have to learn to like, just let things flow. Just let things flow. And like set your boundaries. And if you ever, and the third thing I realized that like, if you ever find yourself like asking, am I controlling? It's probably possible that like, you grew up with parents who didn't like give you that sense of security, that knowing that no matter what happens, things will be okay as long as you're happy, you're healthy, you're spiritually nourished and fulfilled. They probably didn't give you that sense of security growing up in a sense. Like, and they felt the need to even have to control themselves. And that could go into even like when it comes to like having like a dictator, because there are different like forms of parents. There's the passive aggressive, there's the parents who feel the need to be friends with their kids, there's like the dictator authoritative type of parents, and so they feel the need to have control in their lives, so it kind of passes on to you in a sense. And no matter how much love you were and like the love that you did get, it was from people who praised you for like being mature or like having an old soul. And they don't know it's like, I have an old soul because I've been through a lot of shit. I've been through a lot of shit, and like a lot of people have left my life, and I didn't know why they left my life, but I knew that I had a good heart, and I know that I tried my best, and I always tried to put effort in no matter what was on my plate. And they kind of just left, or they kind of was just, it was kind of just very easy for me to be thrown away. And I didn't know why, and I didn't know what I did wrong, but it's like the person is gone. So what can I do but kind of take the lesson and move on? If you want to call that being mature, then that's fine. But I think that's just kind of being disappointed a lot and kind of just learning how to deal with it. In a sense. I'm sorry if that sounded like really depressing. And the thing is like, feeling the need to control, it doesn't just go into like, it doesn't really, I realized that like feeling the need to control, it wasn't just me, it wasn't even just relationships and me trying to like mold a guy that I just told that, oh, it's okay for us to just be friends and get to know each other, and like what kind of happens from there happens. It wasn't just me trying to mold that guy into like now bringing up my like suppressed real desire for a relationship and trying to like imprint that onto the guy who just made it clear that he doesn't want a relationship right now. It was even like the way I communicated with my friends, because it's like, because I was so used to people leaving me and I had all these abandonment issues, if I texted them and they weren't texting me back in like 10, 20 minutes or like an hour, or when I felt like enough time had passed, Now I'm texting them like 30, 40 times. I'm like calling them 5, 10 times. Meanwhile, they probably just in the fucking shower. And they like, and I could have just chilled the whole time. And I didn't know what was going on with them. And so I'm calling them incessantly. I'm texting them. And then because they didn't respond in the time I wanted them to respond, I'm just like, have a good day. And I just sort of dismiss them. And that's not right. That's not right. And that's not healthy. And that can be really annoying to people. You know what I mean? Who do have things to do, who do their best to keep in contact with their friends, but they do have a life. You know what I mean? And I had to learn about that. And when it comes to like the signs that you're a controlling person, in a sense, it's like there's nothing wrong with wanting peace in your life, because, you know, I felt like I always thought that I was coming from a good place where it's like I've just had so much shit happen to me. If I can just control what happens, I can just have a sense of peace, a sense of comfort, a sense of not having to be like in survival mode all the time. And there's nothing wrong with wanting peace in your life, but it's like you can't let the need for control keep you from having like really healthy, meaningful relationships. And that's what it was doing to me. And some signs that you can be a controlling person is trying to be a people pleaser. You know what I mean? And I feel like when you're a kid, you're kind of taught that people pleasing will lead to like this sense of like, you know, security and feeling content within yourself. But, you know, as you grow older and you have more responsibilities and you don't have... Sorry about that. Fucking iPhones. Like, yeah, you interrupted my damn PSA to tell me I have low battery. These are things I could have figured out. Sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry. Because I get off track really easily. So when you disrupt what I'm trying to do, it can just... Anyway. So a sign that you can be controlling is people pleasing. And like I was saying, this is okay. This is like taught to you that it's okay to be a people pleaser when you're a kid, and to just sort of like allow people to do what they want to do no matter how you feel. My grandma is the same way. But it's like, as you get older and you have more responsibilities and you kind of don't have the energy or the strength even in you really to do all these things and, you know, do everything that people are asking you to do, it can lead to disappointment, because it's impossible to please everyone. It's impossible to please everyone. It's impossible not to offend everyone. So it's like you're just going down this never-ending like sort of hamster wheel, and now you kind of feel like you're kind of living your life for someone else. And that's not good. And I remember when I was trying to date and I had like 2 jobs and was going to school full time, and I was trying to like meet up with all these different people, and it was hard. And it's like none of this effort was being put back onto me. I didn't have no one asking me, hey, I know you're on your break. I know you have your break at blah, blah, blah. If you want, I could come up and bring some food, or we could go out and I'll get you some, I don't know, some fucking halal, and we could sit down for like 30 minutes, you know. No one was offering me that. I'm running around all the fucking tri-state area of New York, and no one is doing the same thing for me. So I was like, I just gave up after a minute, you know. It wasn't that important to me anymore after a minute. And sorry all about that. My phone died. But anyway, I'm going to try and make this part as quick as I can, because I don't know when my storage is going to be full. But basically, a second sign that you can be, you know, controlling is that you're a perfectionist. Now, here's the thing. I never knew I was a perfectionist. I just always thought, okay, if I'm going to put something out there, I wanted to have it. I wanted to be with my all. I wanted to put all my effort out there. I just want to put my best foot forward. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, it can be a double-edged sword. And it can lead to this sort of like, you know, like false sense of security in a sense, because you're always going to feel like no matter like what level you're at, no matter how good you may be, oh, this isn't good enough, or I don't have everything that I need in order to do this certain thing or to put this out. And that can also lead to procrastination, because if I think about it, not even with just relationships and feeling like because I don't have a lot to offer, that means I shouldn't offer anything at all. And that could lead to you only receiving in a relationship but not reciprocating. And that's a whole nother conversation for another time. But it can also go into like when it comes to like just projects that you want to put out. If I wanted to like put out YouTube videos for such a long time. I always wanted to be a YouTuber, whatever you want to call that, or content creator as I prefer. And I always wanted to have my own podcast, and I hadn't done it for so long because I felt like, oh well, there's already like a million people who have a YouTube or a podcast. What makes me so different? Or I don't have the right gear. I don't have enough money to spend $1,000 on like the right cameras and the lights and the fucking action, whatever else. And it's like if you always feel like you're not good enough, or you always feel like you don't have the best equipment or the best whatever, it's just gonna keep going on to the next week. You don't put out something, to the next week you don't put out something, and it will just keep piling up. And so nothing is ever going to be perfect. You have to realize that. And also another reason why you might be controlling is because you don't know how to let mistakes go. I'm a person that